As feared, confirmed cases of coronavirus are increasing across Australia as federal and state governments try and contain the outbreak before hospitals become overwhelmed. Let's take you through the latest numbers. New South Wales has 210 confirmed cases, Victoria 94, Queensland 78, South Australia 30, WA has 28 cases of COVID-19, Tasmania 7, the ACT 2 and the Northern Territory 1. Scott Morrison's second stimulus package is many weeks, it's not going to be weeks, I should say, it's going to be days away. Senior ministers concede it won't be enough to save every business and every job.
The Prime Minister arriving at Parliament for an emergency meeting with his money men, ramping up the economic response to the virus.
In light of what's been happening in recent days, we will be scaling it up.
Just 5 days after his first, he's now back finalising a second stimulus package to keep businesses afloat and people in work, but a dire warning that closures and retrenchments are inevitable.
Many businesses will close and many Australians will lose their jobs.
Phase 2 of the stimulus will be unveiled within days with a focus on propping up restaurants, tourism operators and airlines, which have copped the brunt of strict border controls and quarantine measures.
I'm determined to ensure that we continue to do everything we possibly can to help our tourism businesses get through this.
There were gaps in the first package. It was clearly, by the government's own admission, now too small and too slow, and more needs to be done.
It will also look at redeploying workers to other businesses if they lose their jobs and triggering an unprecedented wartime-style shift in manufacturing, asking companies if they can start producing masks, goggles, gowns and hand sanitizer to bolster Australia's health response to the corona crisis.
We do have capability here in Australia. We are looking at ramping that up.
Also ramping up precautions at Parliament House, capping the number of politicians returning here on Monday. Just 90 MPs will sit in the House of Representatives, 61 fewer than usual, and there's likely to be fewer senators as well.
Clearly these are pretty extraordinary times. It requires extraordinary steps like this.
As the Prime Minister convenes the second meeting of the National Cabinet tonight to decide on further measures to slow the spread of the virus within communities. It's expected the current ban on mass gatherings of 500 people will be reduced to just 100 and access to nursing homes will be restricted in a bid to protect the nation's most vulnerable.
And that's our goal.
As the virus outbreak continues to see more and more cases daily, Labor is unequivocal. More testing is needed.
The decision about how many tests to apply should only be driven by one factor: how many people need them.
We're expecting a major announcement on that within the next 24 hours.
The pandemic plan's constantly evolving as Australia fights to stay on top of a crisis unlike any other in modern history. Eliza Edwards, Sky News, Canberra.